Record. Hello, so thanks everybody for joining. As I said before, great to see so many of you here. Really looking forward to sort of telling you all about this experience. So I literally just came back from looking after our 2022 groups about a month ago now. Absolutely incredible. So now I'm buzzing to sort of tell you all about our trip next summer and sort of start it over again. So yeah, can't wait to tell you more about it. Before we get going, I just want to sort of introduce obviously who myself and Megan are. So I am the operations manager at Dig Deep Challenges. So basically my role to organise this trip for you with our partner Safari and Tanzania and just make sure you have an amazing time. I've done Kilimanjaro twice myself. Did it first when I was a student at the University of Birmingham back in 2013. And then the year after did Mount Kenya as well. And then went back to do Kilimanjaro again in 2019 as a member of staff. So hopefully I'll be able to tell you everything you need to know about the trip. And I've been with Dig Deep now for just over 5 years, sort of working to obviously support our next generation of fundraisers. So yeah, like I said, can't wait to sort of tell you all about it. And I'll let Megan introduce herself.
Thank you. So I'm Meg. I'm the Events and Community Fundraising Officer here at Dig Deep. I'm really new to the role. I started right at the end of April, so still like within 6 months kind of thing. Unfortunately, I haven't climbed Kilimanjaro, hoping to do so soon. But I have quite an extensive history in fundraising, so about 8 years. I was an NCS kid, so I did a lot of fundraising through secondary school, all the way through uni, and loved it so much I decided I wanted to make it my full-time job.
And here you are.
And here I am.
So yeah, you'll hear more from Meg later on when I pass over to her to carry you through the fundraising section. But for now, I will crack on with the presentation. So obviously, we want to let you know who we are as an organisation to start with. So if you didn't know already, we are a charity first and foremost. So Dig Deep, the charity, was formed in 2007, and it was formed by student volunteers. And then we set up our Dig Deep Challenges, which is our not-for-profit trading arm, to basically organise these challenges in-house to raise money for our projects in Kenya. So just want to stress that no profit is being made by us running these trips. All the money that you'll be fundraising and paying is either going towards your trip costs in country or as a donation to the charity Dig Deep. And we're super proud in 2021 to be awarded the Charity of the Year status, the award from the National Student Fundraising Association Awards. And we're also shortlisted again in 2022 for the same award. So that really is sort of testament to our encouragement of sort of the next generation of student fundraisers. And obviously, a lot of you will be in the same boat as that. So I'm telling you a little bit more about that later on. So obviously the important thing at the beginning, to sort of let you know about the sort of key costs and things. So to start off with, you have a minimum fundraising target of £2,950. Now this is due the 15th of June, so you've got almost the sort of whole year to raise those funds. And it's entirely up to you how you go about doing it. So you can either fully fundraise that amount, you can sort of part fund some of that, or you can actually self-fund the whole amount. So it's entirely your decision about how you go about that. But we are here to support you throughout that whole process to make sure that you are not left alone to fundraise that yourself. And Meg will be going through all of the things that we do to sort of help you in that process later on. That fundraising target is split 50-50. So half of that amount, that £1,475, is a charity donation. And the other half covers your in-country trip costs, which I'll go through again in more detail on a later slide. But to start off with, obviously I want to let you know about who we are as a charity and what that charity donation will be making possible in Kenya. So we are a water and sanitation charity, and we believe everybody has a fundamental right to access clean water, safe toilets, and good hygiene. And I'm sure you completely agree with that statement as well. Unfortunately, though, that is not the case for millions of people across the world, and in particular where we work in a place called Bomet County. So this is where we work, as I said, Bomet County in the southwest of Kenya. In this region, around sort of 80%, so 8 in 10 people, don't have any access to clean water or safe toilets. So you can see it's a huge problem. This is where our mission is focused in this one region of Kenya. One of the most sort of least and under-resourced regions of the whole country. Now, ultimately, sort of you, by taking on this challenge, you will be enabling our Kenyan team, as you can see here, Justice is our country manager, in partnership with local governments, local communities, and schools, to vastly accelerate the access to clean water and safe toilets for the region, for about 1 million residents in Bomet County. And we do this through a number of different ways. The first one being by designing and protecting large-scale water systems to provide a reliable access of clean water to thousands of people every day. And that is through things like rainwater harvesting or spring protection. We also train communities how to construct their own latrines so they can end up open defecation, which I'll touch on in a later slide as well. We also build long-lasting toilet blocks at schools, which you can see here, which will withstand the impact of sort of rainy season and climate change. But we also use these structures to capture rainfall, as you can see from sort of guttering. This is one example of rainwater harvesting, where the water is collected and then treated for safe drinking in the storage tanks there. And we also design school curriculums and train the next generation on the importance of simple hygiene practices that we take for granted, so things like hand washing and the importance of soap. And we do that through training community volunteers to go into schools, go into the community and pass on these vital hygiene messages. Now, I mentioned open defecation earlier on, where we sort of go into the communities and train how to build their own latrines in their house. If you didn't know already, so open defecation is basically not having a toilet at your home and just finding nature and going to the toilet there, which obviously for us is something which sounds so alien. But at the start of 2020, there were 0 villages in Bonnet County who were classified as open defecation free. So what we have done, we started a pilot project at the beginning of 2020 to go around 6 villages and start a community-led total sanitation project, which effectively means going into communities and teaching them the importance of having a toilet, using a latrine, and also the importance of hand washing and good hygiene. For them to understand how that can spread disease and how that can obviously impact in their overall health. So we started our pilot project. We had great success. So in those 6 villages, we achieved open defecation-free status, and we then vastly ramped up this work over the next year. And by the end of 2021, we achieved over 100 villages open defecation-free status, which was a monumental achievement. And it was actually picked up by the local government as well. So they saw the success we've been having. And they've now partnered with us over the next 5 years with a co-funding agreement to vastly again ramp up that work across the other regions in Bonnet County. So something we're super happy about. We had gotten on the first level of that sanitation ladder, and now we can't wait over the next 5 years to vastly ramp that up and achieve even more success. The reality is of all of that is that you'll be given the gift of time. So the less time that students like Carlos and Mary, you can see here, fall ill, the more time that they can be spending at school and learning to build themselves a brighter future. And in the same sense, the less time that people like Joyce fall ill or have to spend time collecting water every day, the more time they can be spent at work and earning a living and building themselves a bright future again for themselves and their families. So this kind of puts into perspective the impact that you can have. So just £50 provides 1,000 litres of clean water storage for a school in Kenya. Just one of the things that money can do. So just imagine the impact that you can have by fundraising and taking on this incredible challenge. Obviously, this was a very quick overview of what Dig Deep do, but please, I'd urge you, if you want to find out a bit more about what your donation will be making possible, just head to our website and you can find out a lot more information on there about where your fundraising is going to be going. But I'm sure you're all here to find out about Kilimanjaro as well. So I'm going to now move on to that side of the presentation. So firstly, to secure your place on the challenge, we ask you to pay a registration fee, which is £395. But this is broken down into 2 more manageable instalments. So the first one being £195 when you first complete registration. So that's the registration form on the website. You'll be asked to pay that first instalment. And then you've got a remaining balance of £200, which is due before the end of January. Now, there are ways in which you can reduce this remaining balance. So one of the ways I'm sure you're aware of by now is by attending this session. And for the next 48 hours, your discount code will be valid to reduce that remaining balance down to £100. We then also have a refer a friend scheme. So when you sign up, you'll also then be given a unique referral code in your welcome email, which you can then pass on to other members, other friends, other family members who may be interested in joining you. And then if you pass it on and they sign up with that code, you'll then each receive a further £50. So the reality is if you sign up in the next 48 hours and then refer 2 extra people to join you on the trip, you'll only have to pay that initial £195 and you have no remaining balance left to pay in January. You've then got the fundraising target, as I mentioned before, so £2,950. You've obviously already heard about what the charity part of that covers in Kenya. So in terms of accelerating access to clean water, safe water and good hygiene in Bomet County. The other half purely goes onto your in-country trip costs. So as we're a not-for-profit who are basically organising these trips to raise money for our projects, there's no profit being made by us organising the trip for you. So all of that trip cost is purely what you're going to be requiring when you're in country. And that's everything from all of your climb costs, as you can see listed there. So your tent and sleeping mat, all of your support staff, who will talk a lot about later on in the presentation and how amazing they are. Your entrance to National Park and your hiking permit. You've got your medical checks. You'll have a qualified expedition medic within your climb group. And this is something that other providers do have a medic on the mountain, but they generally have them at one camp. On our climbs, we have a medic accompanying you throughout your whole trip. So on every day, the medic will be within your climb group and dealing with any medical issues that you may sort of report or arise and can help deal with those. Aside from on the climb, you've got your in-country travel. So that's your airport pickup options. You've also got your travel to and from the mountain gate from your accommodation. And then full board accommodation and either side of the challenge as well. So on the date of your arrival and also the day that you finish your climb, you'll have accommodation included. There will also be myself and other Dignity members of staff in country with you for a bit of a friendly face and someone to sort of help make sure that everything is running smoothly. And we also have a doctor based in Moshi, which is the closest town to the base of Kilimanjaro. So we've got a medic in your climb group, but also a medic in the accommodation. So anything that may arise before or after the climb, again, you've got medical support there, rather than having to go to a private hospital and sort of pay those fees as well. So a huge support network behind you, and all of that is covered within your fundraising target. So Kilimanjaro will be taking place next August. So you can see the climb start window listed on the screen there. So your climb will start on one day within that window. We have registrations open until the 30th of November. So that's when you have to sign up. And then after that, within the next week or two, we will release your confirmed climb date for your particular group and also your recommended flight options. So by the start of December, you'll have your confirmed date. If you know at this stage, though, that you particularly can't do maybe sort of later in August and you need to go early, all you need to do is pop me an email and let me know that you need to go in one of the earlier groups or you need to be back for a certain time, and we can be super flexible with that. But we will try to pay up within your group and make sure you all climb together. So I'm going to take you through now what you can expect on the mountain or on the trip in general. And I just want to stress that all of these pictures used in this presentation, all the pictures and videos, are from Dig Deep climbers in the last couple of years. So these are going to be the exact landscapes and views that you can see when you take it on next summer. So if you didn't know already, Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding mountain in the world. It stands at just under 6,000 meters in height. And it's one of those things that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. It's going to be a tough challenge, but one that you can definitely achieve. So you'll be taking on the Machame route, which is a 6-day hike. It takes 4.5 days to get to the top and then 1.5 days to get back down again. And on the first day, you'll be starting in this luscious green rainforest that you can see here. Loads of different native plants that you'll only find on Kilimanjaro. And there'll also be colobus monkeys jumping around the trees above you as well. So really sort of thrown into the deep end with some amazing nature on Kilimanjaro. But the great thing is about Kilimanjaro is every day is a completely unique experience. So just a couple of hours into day 2, you'll have exited the rainforest and be well above the clouds already and walking through a completely different terrain. And then every day that terrain changes. So you can see from the pictures here, you'll start going into, which is more a bit like walking on the moon, sort of alpine landscape, and then right at the top, you'll enter the glacial zone. So every day is a completely unique experience, different terrains, and it also keeps you on your toes. At the end of each day, you will arrive at your campsite. Now, you do not have to put up your tents or carry your tents or anything like that. You've got an amazing team of porters who will carry your equipment. They'll set up your camp every day, and then they'll take the camp down again, ready for you in the morning. So when you arrive at camp, your tent will be waiting for you, your bag will be waiting inside your tent for you, so you can just relax. And then you go into the mess tent. The food will be prepared for you by amazing chefs. So you get 3 freshly cooked meals a day, and all dietary requirements can be catered for by this amazing team. You'll be absolutely amazed at what can be produced on the side of a mountain in one tent and a few pots and pans. But trust me, the food is absolutely incredible to keep you nice and fueled. And there's no better way then to finish each day than literally just sitting back and enjoying these incredible views at these camps you can see here. These sunsets get better and better with every day, and sort of looking across above the clouds is one of those sort of unique experiences that, yeah, there's no better way to sort of finish each day, like I said before. Now, the Matrami route is also one of the most popular routes because it allows you to acclimatise as you go. So on day 3, you have a dedicated acclimatisation day where you trek up to a place called Lava Tower, as you can see here, where you'll stop and have some lunch, and then you'll start to descend back down again to Sleeper Barranco camp. Now, this sort of short exposure to a higher altitude really helps to prepare your body for what is to come in the coming days. And it gives you sort of an increased sort of summit success rate. It also, though, gives you the chance to tackle the Barranco wall on the following day. It's not as scary as it looks from these pictures, but it is everyone's favourite day. And as you have a bit of a scramble up the side of the wall. No technical climb required, it is just a scramble. And then when you get to the top, you have one of the best chances to get some amazing photos on the whole climb. So you're standing well above the clouds, looking down at the tiny little tents from your campsite where you've just come from. And you won't believe me until you're there, but you can also see the curvature of the earth at this point. So obviously a great chance to have some amazing photos with your fellow team members. And just beneath the other side of the camera is the summit looming over you as well. So really sort of encourages you and maybe scares you a little bit as well about what is to come in the next couple of days. These are some of the amazing night skies that you'll see every night on the mountain. So obviously being well above the clouds, there's nothing obstructing your view of the sort of Milky Way and shooting stars, and literally these are some of the photos that you can see. So I definitely challenge any budding photographers out there to try and better some of these photos, because it's one of those unique experiences that definitely never going to have before. So a lot of our groups will tend to, they're feeling pretty good on one of the particular days, they'll stay up and try and get some of these amazing photos. And then you're on to summit night. So summit night is extra special because you actually be starting your climb in the middle of the night. So you get up around sort of midnight to 1 AM, and you'll start to follow your head guide and a line of head torches towards the summit. After about 6 hours or so, the sun will start to rise, and then you get to see the landscape that you're actually trekking in. And it's definitely a moment where you'll probably shed a tear or two, and just embrace that moment. And as you can see here from Paige, it will also be one of the toughest moments of your life. The altitude will be leaving you short of breath. You'll be absolutely exhausted from sort of days walking beforehand. But I want to stress that obviously it's a challenge, but you don't have to be a super keen athlete or have loads of hiking experience to do this challenge. It's as much a mental challenge as a physical challenge. So you just need that inner belief and drive that you can and will make it to the top. We also have an incredible support team behind you. So in our approach, we have a 1-to-1 ratio of climb support crew member to climber. So at this point of the climb, was obviously the most challenging, you have a dedicated crew member there to help you every step of the way. And this really reflects back in our success rate of getting people to the top summit. So over 300 people took on this climb with us this summer, and 94% of them got to the top. And this is true testament to that support crew who is looking after you. So this truly can be you, stood at the top of Kilimanjaro, the highest freestanding mountain in the world. And this moment is incredibly hard to put into words, which isn't ideal as I'm trying to put it into words right now. But trust me, I can vividly remember my moment of walking up and touching the sign just to make sure I have actually made it. And then celebrating with a team of newfound best friends, which sounds very cliche, but trust me, it is. Your climbing group will be around sort of 25 to 30 people that you're climbing within. So you'll have a huge team behind you who is sort of going through the same moments, supporting you through the tough times. And then at this moment, you also get to celebrate all together at the top as one big team. And that is your sort of fellow team members, but also your support team who helped you get there. It's a very special moment, be very emotional, but yeah, definitely something that you're going to remember forever. So I've touched on them a little bit already, but we've come to realize after the last sort of 10 years of us doing these trips, that it really is the local people, the local ground staff and your mountain crew who you meet along the way, who make your experience what it is. We are super lucky to work with 2 amazing companies in Trek to Kili and African Saint Safaris. And I've been working with them since 2015 to deliver these climbs for you. They're 2 of the best in the business. I'd urge you to go and check out their websites, look on the TripAdvisor accounts. You'll see a whole host of 5-star reviews. And trust me, they are absolutely amazing. I want to stress though that there is a history of exploitation of mountain crew by other companies on Kilimanjaro. But we are partnered with a company called KPAP. They're a local NGO who are fighting for porter rights in Tanzania. So that is through doing a whole host of different things in terms of providing equipment, so that every porter is not sort of lost the opportunity if they can't afford the right equipment. So they release these out at mountain gates. But they also send undercover porters onto all the climb companies and assess them on their sort of their ethical standards in terms of how much are they being asked to carry, are they being fed, are they being given somewhere to sleep, and ultimately are they being paid a fair wage as well. The reason we have worked with Director Kelly and African Sea Safaris for so long is they are two of the highest rating companies from KPAP on Kilimanjaro. So you can be safe in the knowledge that you're climbing with an ethical company, and it will reflect back in your experience as well, because in order for obviously the crew to look after you, we believe they first have to be looking after themselves. And trust us, they really are, and they will give you the best experience along the way as a result of this. So for your support team, there'll be roughly 3 crew members for every one of you. So there could be approaching sort of 100 people looking after you along the way. And that is made up of a huge team of porters who, like I said, will be carrying your equipment and also setting your camp for you. There'll be chefs preparing amazing food, and then there'll also be your guides. Now, your guides are qualified mountaineers with years of experience. A lot of them have grown around Kilimanjaro and have climbed 1,000 times. They have climbed hundreds of times before, taking thousands of climbers just like you to the summit. Trust me, they are absolutely incredible. My head guide in 2019, a guy called Joffrey, has climbed over 500 times now. So absolutely amazing. And like I said before, they give you the best experience, as you can see here. So there'll be loads of songs and dances throughout the way, keeping your spirits up. There'll be a huge celebration when you've just finished and you get back down to the mountain gate. And we will also do a tipping ceremony then for you to pay your respects back to the climb team. It is customary to tip on Kilimanjaro, so it's in the region of $150 to $180 per person, which I know right now sounds like a lot of money. But trust us, every year our climbers do not even quiver up sort of paying them, and often give a lot more when they've seen what the climb team do for you. So all that money will be pulled together and they're divided out between the whole crew, and then you'll hand it out to each crew member and say thank you in a tipping ceremony. And it really is a sort of perfect way to sort of round off your overall Kilimanjaro experience. Now, I've obviously talked a lot, so I'm going to hand over now to a couple of our sort of climbers who recorded a little video and little testimonials when they came down the mountain, so they can actually tell you what it was like having just done it.
Climbing Kilimanjaro was probably one of the best things I've ever done. I knew it'd be good, but my expectations were blowing out of the water.
Climbing Kili was something that I will never forget, and it was just breathtaking in all sense of the word. It was very, very challenging, but also very worthwhile.
And it was brilliant. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life.
Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Again, that's not the best thing I've ever done.
It's really tough, but an amazing experience, and you're definitely making it. We just want to say thank you to everyone who helped.
One of the best experiences you'll have. The porters help in so many different ways.
It's gone above and beyond, and to the point they were carrying our bags at some point if we needed. So, and then we stickers as well. So,
thank you to the porters, to the guys, to everyone who got us up there. It's no way we could have done it without you, and I'm so grateful.
It was so good. I can't recommend it enough. It was truly incredible.
So those stats on the screen are from, obviously, like I said, this year's climb team of over sort of 300 people took on the trip with us this summer. So yeah, a really successful trip, and obviously can't wait to sort of better that next year. The great thing is, though, that this trip doesn't have to be the end. So Kilimanjaro can just be the start of your sort of East African experience. Your suppliers in country organise some amazing exchange travel packages. So things like a 2-day safari in Tarangire National Park, which you can see here. It's known as the home of elephants because there's actually thousands of elephants who walk through this national park. But you can also see lions and leopards and cheetahs and the whole host of sort of what you can expect an East African safari to be. These are some of the pictures from our climbers. As you can see, you get really close to the animals, and it is that sort of amazing experience that you can imagine to round off your experience. And after that, you can then go on to the idyllic paradise of Zanzibar. So as you can expect, It is paradise. You've got this crystal clear blue waters. The hotel that you can see on the top right is where our group stay. It's a 4-star resort called Palumbo Reef. It's owned by Italians, so absolutely amazing food throughout. But you can also then go on boat trips. You can go and do snorkeling. You can swim with dolphins. You can go to the Jazani Forest and see the colobus monkeys. And there's also a place called Prison Island, not far, where you can go a boat trip to, and you can see the giant tortoise sanctuary. Or you can just do what a lot of our groups do and just hang around the hotel and just relax after climbing a very big mountain. So obviously the perfect way to sort of round off your experience. So we don't organise these trips ourselves. These are done by our local partners, African Scenic Society and Trek to Kili. And rather than me introduce them, I've got a short video for them to tell you exactly who they are and what they do.
This is Team Dig Deep Tanzania.
Yeah. Welcome you all.
Hello everyone, I'm Simba Natai, Managing Director of African Scenic Safaris.
My name is Aiza. I'm the founder and owner at Trek to Kili Company Limited. I Trek to Kili and Africa Scenic, we are both partners with Dig Deep for all your climbs and safaris as well here in Tanzania.
Yes, we are looking forward to welcome you to Tanzania and make sure you're gonna have the best time over here. We are the one to organize your Kilimanjaro climbs and make sure you have the best local support for all your treks and organizing all your accommodation and transport as well. We are both K-pop approved companies with local and ground support, and we are looking forward to welcome you to Tanzania.
Tanzania is so beautiful, and we want you guys to enjoy it all. From Kilimanjaro climb, go on safari, culture tourism, as well as Zanzibar. We are here for you.
If you want to do something different, we are able to tailor-made any kind of packages. So what you need to do is just to ask.
We thank you very much all for choosing Dig Deep, Africa Scenic, and Trek to Kili. We are very, very happy to welcome you here so we can enjoy more of our country in Tanzania. Thank you, guys.
So as I said, these are two of our long-term partners since 2015. Two are the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and really sort of cannot do enough for you. So as they mentioned, they do put together some great packages for you and look after you throughout your whole time in Tanzania. So we have a couple of group trip options, which generally are most popular for our group to take on. So like I said, the 2-day safari and 5 days in Zanzibar. And there's a couple of different cost options there for if it's sort of a larger group or a slightly smaller group. And then the 7 days in Zanzibar, again, a couple of different price options for large groups or smaller groups. Those costs are all inclusive of all of your accommodation, full board accommodation, so all your food is included, your transport, and also obviously the activities themselves in terms of the safari. The only thing that's not included is your drinks while you're in Zanzibar. As I also mentioned on the video there, they can also organise more bespoke trips. So if you're keen to potentially do, say, a Serengeti safari or stay around Moshi and do some sort of more cultural experiences, all you need to do is drop them an email and they can sort of quote up some different packages for you and arrange those on request. So all of that can be done bespokely. For all of those packages, though, you don't have to pay for that up front. So all they'll ask is a $200 deposit to secure your place, and that'll be before the end of May. And then the remaining balance is not due until you're in country. So you pay the suppliers direct when you're out there next August. Just a few other things to sort of mention. Obviously, we need to make sure that you're aware of all the additional travel costs. So you probably sort of understood already, but your flights are not included. So those will be in the region around sort of £700 to £1,000. We are partnered with Trail Finders, though, to bring you sort of recommended options. So we will release those, as I said before, at the start of December when we release the trip dates. You'll also be sent an email then with recommended options that you can book through Trail Finders. And we hope to do what we did this year and secure a sort of special package with Qatar Airways, like we did this year, so that you can again pay just a small deposit to secure your flight, and then pay off the remaining balance throughout the year when you have the funds available, to make it as easy as possible so you don't have to pay for that flight cost up front. Then other standard travel costs you need to be aware of, obviously your travel insurance, your visas and vaccinations for a trip of this nature. But again, we can advise you on all of that information that you need for those various things. And then it's just things like your standard sort of personal trekking kit. You will need sort of a good pair of walking boots, a sort of a hiking bag, and a sort of a nice warm coat, but then the rest of it will basically just be sort of standard kit. But our suppliers also enable you to sort of hire all this kit that you need at great prices, and we can send you information on the full kit list and also the kit hire prices as well, if that's of interest to you to sort of look at before you sign up. So just drop us an email to sort of go through those things. And finally, before I hand over to Megan, we completely understand it's difficult for you to sort of plan this far in advance. Obviously, we're talking about next August right now, and things do potentially change throughout the year. Obviously, things like internships, or if you have a particular wedding that you need to go to that pops up, all those things can happen, sort of planning this far in advance. So we have things in place which can sort of help with that. So the first one being, we offer a full refund within 14 days of registration fee. So if you sign up, use a discount code in the next sort of two days, and then whatever reason you realise you can't go or you change your mind, all you need to do is drop us an email and we can sort of give you a full refund of your registration fees within 14 days. After that 14 days period, the registration fee is non-refundable, so just be aware of that. Obviously, you do have that sort of cooling off period when you initially sign up. We also then have a free deferral policy. So at any point in the year, if something pops up and you can't go on the trip anymore, you can simply defer your trip to the following year for no charge. All of your fundraising will carry over and that you complete at that point, and your fundraising target will stay the same. You just have to do that before the 15th of June, which is the final fundraising deadline. We'll then obviously rearrange your trip and move your fundraising deadlines in line with your new trip date. So just give you that bit of a safety net for whatever reason. If something crops up and you can't go, you can simply move your trip to the future year and it'll all be sorted for you. So I'm going to hand over to Megan now, who's going to take you through the fundraising section. But yeah, I'll pop back again for the Q&A. So any questions that you've got, just pop them into the chat and I can go through those at the end.
Amazing, thank you. So obviously it is quite natural to be apprehensive about fundraising, but it can and should be a lot of fun. We don't sit back and just let you figure it out on your own. That's not what we like to do. And the support that you receive will be from somebody who has that fundraising experience as well. Is it going to go? Come on. There we go. We got there. So as Simon was saying before about our award from NASFA, we do pride ourselves on our fundraising support, and we are committed to maintaining the high standards that saw us win the award in 2021 and to get shortlisted in 2022 as well. Essentially, the more that we fundraise, the more that we can help the communities in Bomet, and the more enjoyable it is for yourselves. Obviously, people like to fundraise a lot more than little, so having that experience all together is definitely something that people enjoy. So what did our Kilimanjaro 2022 fundraisers say? So you don't need experience in fundraising. As you can see there, 85% of our fundraisers had never fundraised before this, or had only done it in like a limited capacity. The challenge really is about utilising the resources that we give you and choosing the things that you enjoy, finding new things that you enjoy. You will have to put in time and effort, but you will gain tons of transferable skills such as event management, sales, marketing, and networking as well. And then what you'll get from us is what I like to do is I like to book everybody in when they first sign up, just to have a chat about themselves, see what they like, what they don't like, and then we'll get a plan together of how we're going to tackle the challenge. You'll also receive a monthly schedule of support. So that starts with the fundraising ideas over there on the left. And then we go into those in more depth on our social media channels like Instagram. So there's a lot out there. And we also have an open calendar. Well, I have an open calendar for you guys to book into as well. For if you ever want to have a chat or you're a bit worried about something, we're here for you every step of the way. But as well as this, you do also have access to our virtual fundraising resources, such as our webinar series, our blogs, and our monthly drop-ins. There are multiple campaigns to get involved with, such as like Kilometers for Kenya, The Big Give, Skydives, and Tough Mudder. So there's a whole range out there that you can find and see what's right for you. You'll be joining a community of 10 years worth of Dig Deep climbers as well. You'll also receive a team leader based on your region, and you'll have that whole team there beside you, as well as the support from Simon and myself. We also have a blog called Confessions of a Fundraiser. which is where we invite one of our current fundraisers to talk about something that they've done to do with their fundraising to help inspire others. Or even it's nice to just have a read and see that there's somebody in the same position as you, so you don't feel quite so overwhelmed with it all. But the point is that everyone fundraises in different ways. I like to challenge myself when I fundraise. I did Tough Mudder last year. I'm not a natural runner. I was awful at it. I had the greatest time. Honestly, when I started, once I finished an obstacle, they started packing it away. I didn't care. It was amazing. But then we have people here. We have like Louis and Anton, who set up an 11-a-side charity football match. And they managed to get some really good sponsors from Cafe Nero and Pizza Express. Others like to showcase what they're good at. So we have a fundraiser called Jack, and he does a lot of busking. And when he does that, he has his fundraising page as a QR code, so people can donate that way as well. So it really is what you make it. You can find things that you do enjoy, you can try things out that you don't enjoy, and you can go from there. So what your fundraising could make possible is that there may be times where some of your ideas haven't landed the way that you thought they would, or you haven't received as much engagement. And the point is here that resilience is really the main thing that you can gain from this side of the challenge. You'll have physical resilience when you're climbing Kili, but this really is a sort of a mental resilience. It won't happen where a lot of your ideas won't go to plan at all. That's not going to happen. But there might be times where you're a bit frustrated that you're not raising as much as you thought you would. But the thing to remember is that everything that you're fundraising is making something possible. As you can see here, £27 buys a hand washing station for a school. So when you panic and think, oh, I've only raised £50 this month, look at what you've already made possible. So as you've seen, you've got incredible views. I don't know if Simon said, but every single photo that you've seen here was taken by our Kilimanjaro climbers from the past. So that is genuinely, blows my mind. They look like professionals. So when Simon says he challenges you to get a better photo, he genuinely means it. And as I said, you'll be developing transferable skills. You'll be pushing yourself mentally and physically, and you'll meet like-minded people. And over the years, we've supported over 1,700 climbers reach the top of Kili. And I really hope that you'll be one of them.
Amazing. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the presentation. So as I said, we're going to do a Q&A section now. So